Oh, so what's up, guys? So, as you can tell, looking at the video, uh, my audio is all kinds of jacked up. So, instead of just re recording what I did and or just kind of starting over from scratch, I'm utilizing the video that I got going, driving in my car and enjoying the drive, looking cool. My messy beard and my sunglasses and my flared back hair. Instead, what I was going to try to do is kind of just test out this voiceover feature in my editor. So right now, what you're missing out on me talking is a little bit of techniques and differentiation on understanding the difference between tactics and strategy and how to essentially apply that to anything and everything. So I kind of broke it down in a few couple details of what the difference between tactics and strategy is. And as I was driving, I used a couple driving examples. The way I think of tactics and strategy, and you won't necessarily see this in a book. Okay, books don't do a good job explaining this. It kind of has to come down from like just kind of experience and trying to dissect. And a lot of people struggle with understanding the difference between tactics and strategy. A lot of people think they're thinking strategically and what they're utilizing is just simple tactics. And what the purpose of this video was to just really cleanly and simply explain to people what the difference between strategy and tactics and what it is you're doing in your mind when you're utilizing those things. Now, what is strategy? Strategy in simple terms is the direction of choices, essentially. The example I use in this video while I was recording is I'm driving. I was in town for a doctor's appointment, and then I was driving home because I got work to do. I got some kids that I got to pick up and go take care of. And so I was recording as I was driving. And so in simple terms, what is the strategy? The goal of me driving is to get to my destination, which is home. And so the strategy, I have to think about my start point, which is my doctor's office visit, and my end point, which is home. Okay, so that's you. When you're strategically thinking, you're thinking of a couple key things. Okay, you're thinking of your here and now and your goal. Okay, and there's a lot of different ways you can think about a goal. You can think about things linearly in a straight line, or you can think things more three-dimensionally in space. In the sense of driving, you're on the road, right? So I can turn left, right, but in actual three-dimensional space, you have also up and down. Okay, so you have multiple directions. Okay, so the strategy is me understanding where I currently stand at my doctor's office and trying to figure out where is the best direction I want to head home. And that's the simplification of strategy and strategic thinking. I have my point A destination and I have my end goal, and that you're forward projecting that into the future. Okay, that's all you're doing is trying to figure out where you're at and what you're doing. Okay, so actually thinking futuristically and trying to figure out yourself of where you're going, you're actually strategically thinking. Okay, now when it gets more advanced is the utilization of tactics, the individual roads I can take, to go back to my driving metaphor. So in the video, when I was driving, I was on the freeway. All right, but how do I know what freeway I need to understand? So to go back to strategic thinking, I need to understand from my start point is that me choosing to drive myself, I need to know where my town is, and I need to know the general direction. Okay. So the start town I was at is actually north of the town I live at. So I knew heading home that I have to head south, and south is just a general vector, right? There's a lot of roads that drive and head south and north, but that I can pick from. And so that goes down to the individual tactics. Okay. The choice of road you choose to drive on is the tactical and the tactics of any operation or anything that you are doing. So if you are a person that is at a business and you need to, let's say you need to make sales. Okay. So the strategy you employ is very simply trying to figure out how much more sales do you want to do. Okay. Figuring out your start point or where you're at. Do you want to do less sales or more sales, or do you want to do about the same? It's really no more complicated than that. It's just a projection of a direction that you want to go from your current standpoint. Okay. And so that's why I try to add in the effect of three-dimensional space. If you're moving and you're trying to navigate around the world, you have to think in three-dimensional space, and you have to think volumetrically your strategy and direction you want to go. Okay. When you're driving, we think things linearly. When we're at work, we think things more dynamically because we have to integrate social dynamics into and people's personality and life goals into operating a business or operating within a group or community. You have to think, what is the overall goals of the community, and how can we incorporate that into our strategy, and how do we communicate that to others? So in order to give them something strategically, you have to give them a goal set. So you have to figure out, again, where you are here and now, where do you want to be at in the future? Okay, so that's all you're doing is. So literally forward projection thinking is strategic thinking, okay? But you can also say, I don't want to do anything. I'm going to wait. So what couple things do we notice about strategic thinking? We have to think of here and now and forward thinking, okay? So we have to think of things in the world physically, in directional space. So in the real world, you have to think of things directional space. And then we have the subjective mental state, okay, where you have the planning phases as well. And then you have to think of time. Time is of a important vector of all these mental frameworks of how do you process time and what you're going to do with that. So physical space, state, the current state and time, the forward thinking projection of time, and then the forward direction and the end goal and end state, okay, is strategic thinking. Now, where do tactics come into play? Tactics are the tool sets and the individual routes that we can utilize. So I think tools, routes, optionalities, the actual physical actions, the things that create the strategy. Strategy is a soft mental state, okay, but it doesn't bring into the actual real world. It is the thing that we think of, we hold on to in our mind, okay, but tactics is the thing that actually brings it to real life and brings it into here and now. So this is the tools that we have at our disposal that we can employ. If you're a driver and driving somewhere, the more routes you know in your mind, or the better tools. If you have a GPS, that's a great tactic in order to utilize to get to your end goals if you're not familiar with a map or reading a map. If I were to go overseas, right? Let's say I wanted to travel to France from California. I would run into a problem in my strategy because I would run into this giant Atlantic Ocean somewhere on the East Coast. So I would have to understand that I can't drive there efficiently. So I might have to take a boat or fly. So depending on how quickly I wanted to get there. If I wanted to get there in 3 days, driving there might not be the best option. Taking a boat might not be the best option. So again, coming into the three-dimensional space of understand up and down as well, understand your option of flying to overseas may be a better option and fit for getting to my end state and destination. Applying this to work and human beings, if you're a manager and your goal is to boost morale, a tactic you can employ is just learning to listen to their complaints. If you're not listening to their complaints, talking to them, telling them good morning, being a good social person, helping them with their problems. If they have a customer that they generally have to deal with, or if they struggle on a phone call, or if they struggle with any form of things on work, helping them with their tasking may be the best option. So we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to get this video posted. I was going to do a very simple voiceover. I hope you guys enjoyed this talk and learned a little bit of things from here and there. Please like and subscribe or follow me if you choose to. I'm trying to grow my audience. I hope to see you guys. If you have any critiques on anything, comments, there's something you want to hear from me, send me a comment. I don't have a huge following yet, so I will definitely be able to read it and respond back to you if you have any further comments. Have a wonderful day, and see you later.